right, Steve. The current Michigan team, and certainly let me respect your time. So just let me know when you need to take off. It seems as though, based on our discussions, that you're high on this Michigan team for two basic reasons. They have established and built a defensive structure that they are just now recruiting and developing players and plugging them in. So that defense is going to be rock solid, number one. Number two, you love Bryce Underwood.
Pretty much. Now, let's take the back to front and start with Bryce. I think it's entirely possible week 2 under the lights in front of 90,000 in Norman, Oklahoma, that he goes down there and gets strip sacked and throws 2 picks and we lose like 27-13. I think that's entirely possible. Okay. But, unless you're a Sparty Bucknut cultist who only looks at counting stats, which means you're the guy the sports books love and you're funding all of their palaces. So muy bien. Okay. If you watch the actual game and broke down the film, I actually thought his film was very impressive. And I sent you that breakdown. You and I discussed it on Michigan podcast. You had a lot of the same conclusions that I did, because you have to look at him as a mold of clay. Okay. And so how high of quality this is, the Bryce Underwood that we're going to see this year, even at the end of the year, is nothing compared to the Bryce Underwood we're probably going to see a year from now, and certainly not 2 years from now. Okay. But what is the mold of clay we have to work with right now? And what you can see is that the stuff he has to work on is actually not the stuff that is typical of freshmen. He doesn't look rushed. He doesn't look hurried. He locked on his receiver the very first pass, almost got it picked off, and kind of learned from that. Even his incompletions are in places that's where you want the throw to be. I think he will be limited because Michigan is undergoing kind of an overhaul with the skill position talents, particularly at receiver this year. And they're still trying to build the offensive line back up from where it was the last few years under Jimmy. But it's not possible it's really not possible for Michigan to have worse quarterback play than it did last year. It's just not. I mean, Michigan was playing with 10 guys on offense. And the guy was missing was the most important player on the field. Michigan did not have a playable quarterback last year. It did not. Nobody whatsoever that belonged as a starting quarterback at any of the 18 Big Ten schools, and probably no power conference school within any of the 9 realms within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Mark. So Michigan played with MAC level quarterback. So number one, it can't get worse. So there's going to be improvement, especially factoring in the schedule is way easier than it was a year ago. Right. So the schedule is not as daunting. It can't get any worse. So you're starting with, there's going to be improvement. So so that's your baseline. What's the ceiling of that improvement? Well, the ceiling of the improvement of the offense is not the same as Bryce Underwood's ceiling in his first year. His ceiling in his first year will be limited because it is his first year. Okay. But his ceiling is way higher than anybody in his first year, is way higher than anybody they had at quarterback last year. All right. I mean, I would argue Mikey Keene, if he is able to play this year, just based on his own numbers, which aren't great, but you're talking about a guy that's taken 6,000 snaps in college football and has like a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio in 4 years. That's way better than anybody Michigan had last year. Okay. So there's going to be marked improvement there. And then on defense, I just think there is an internal structure. Michigan has been anywhere from very good to dominant on defense, really going all the way back since Jimmy came in. I mean, that was true. I forgot the defensive coordinator's name, who's, in the SEC now. Don Brown had very good defenses. Don Brown had top 5, 15, power rated defenses every year. He just got lit up by Ryan Day twice. So everybody just remembers that. Okay. I mean, Michigan has not been underwhelming on defense for well over a decade. I think this year's defense will be better. Number one, the schedule again is easier. All right. We're not playing, quarterbacks that have 4 years in major college football and have like we did last year at Texas and Oregon, and they were playing with a great amount of talent around them, or Will Howard. So that's 3. All right. We don't have any quarterback like that on our schedule at all. I mean, I could argue the best quarterback on our schedule is John Mateer, who's going to be playing his second game in a power conference when we play him. All right. So we don't face any quarterbacks like that, who are basically, NFL draft picks just with another year of eligibility. And then I just think the depth will be better. You know, I think there's 6 or 7 legit 6 or 7 deep. There's no you know, there's no Masons there. There's no Kennys there, but there are 6 very high level players that are basically all the same guy. I think there's 6 or 7 deep at linebacker too. And I think the level of depth, especially over the course of how long the season can be now, I think we'll be better on defense because the schedule is lighter and our depth is better.
And the analysis of the quarterback play or lack thereof last year is one of the reasons why, for one of the very few times in the last 90 seconds of that USC game, in a one-score college football game with talent like that on both sides, did I think this game's over?
Mm-hmm.
Because I just thought all USC needs to do is tackle running backs.
Yeah.
And obviously they didn't do it.
I mean, if you go back and watch the USC game, the play before our tailback breaks off that long run to win the game for us. The play before, USC just let Samaj Morgan literally run down the middle of the field, no one within 20 yards of him in a complete circular radius. And all we need is a quarterback that sees that and lobs the ball to him, and he just walks into the end zone. We could not function as a basic offense last year. I mean, the throw that the play call, everybody got on Kirk Campbell for the play call, that play action pass on a 3rd and 1, I think it was on year 1. That was a great play call, perfectly conceived play. All you need to do is just throw a pass most high school guys can play where you layer the ball over Jack Sawyer's head into a wide open touchdown. And if that happens, Kirk Campbell might still be the OC here, frankly. Okay. I mean, that was one of the worst throws I've seen any Michigan quarterback not named Nick Sheridan ever make. It was awful.
It was awful. And even after the big Khalil Mullings run, it was funny because they were at about the 20-yard line, and it was a struggle to get the ball past the goal line.
We had to get to 4th down, if I remember right? Didn't we have to get 4th down to run that in?
Yes.
They're not going to be that bad again. The schedule's not going to be that hard, okay? You know, so now let me say this with a caveat, all right? What's going on right now between the NCAA and Sharon's lawyers is a negotiation, okay? If this thing becomes like a 4-game suspension, then I think that's probably worth another L for Michigan and gets them in that 9-3 range where they're probably not a playoff team this year. All right, so that's the caveat, but we don't know that yet. That'll be determined here in the next couple of months. But in terms of the structure of the team, the quarterback play will be way better than it was last year, and that's with Bryce Underwood probably in year 1 being a just a guy. We didn't have a guy, Mark, last year. We played with 10 men on offense. We didn't have a guy. So having a jag is like a massive upgrade, okay? All right, so the schedule is lighter. We'll have at least a jag at quarterback. Yeah, I think we're going to be pretty good.
Yeah, we've got a Nebraska contingent that gets offended because of the games that were chosen to suspend Sharon Moore. But those are the 2 right games that they selected. It just makes sense that you select those 2 games because you got to select early season games. You got to select back-to-back games. Yep. And so that's the logical choice for me.
But if I don't have a problem with Nebraska fan getting upset. I'd use that for motivation for my team too. You want to listen, though. I will say this about Matt Rule. I really thought he was a tough guy when he came into our league. If you're looking for the most effeminate answer at a press conference every week, look no further than Lincoln, Nebraska. He'll give it to you. Okay. I mean, that bleeping guy. Okay. Ryan Walters called and said, "Stop whining." Okay. I mean, that guy is wow. Okay.
Yes. He doesn't want to play anybody outside the conference. He wants a playoff expanded so his 7-5 teams can make it.
Stallions was worth 40 points when we played them a few years ago. I mean, that guy's like the David Frenches of Stuart Mandel's.